Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Achieve Your Dream Summit. If you haven't been with us, hey, we got marvelous speakers. And today, right now, we've got Rennie Gabriel. If you don't know about Rennie Gabriel, you're going to find out some stuff today. This is an amazing man. Let me tell you a little bit about him. Rennie's book, Wealth on Any Income, has been translated into 8 languages. He failed high school math. Didn't a lot of us. And he was broke at age 50. But here's the good part. By age 58, he was a multi-millionaire. Today, Rennie donates 100% of his program, his book, and his coaching profits to the charity Shelter to Soldier. So without further ado, Rennie Gabriel, take it away.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you so much. And it looks like you actually hit the record button because I see it says that up in the corner.
We are recording. Yes, we are.
All right. We're winning already.
Yes.
So what would you like to ask me first?
Well, since our theme is Achieve Your Dream, let's start with this all-important question. This is the crux of what I do. And that question is, what were you born to do?
What a great question. And I wish I had a good answer for that. I'm thinking it may be one of two things, and they may be the same thing. I really love teaching. I taught junior high and high school. I teach at UCLA still, but I think what I was really born to do was to serve and support other people.
Excellent. Wow. So, and what did you do to get there?
Tried a lot of things, succeeded and failed multiple times. But I think in the end, what happened after age 50 was I recognized what I really could do to serve and support people. And I have a program where what we do is raise philanthropists.
Oh, okay. Wow. Wow. And so how does your dream, how does your business, all your business dealings, how do they fit into your dream?
Very tightly. What I do is support people to handle money powerfully so that they can become philanthropic. And it doesn't matter if they're starting from a place where they're in debt or they're making a lot of money or paying a lot of taxes. All of that's irrelevant. Most people I meet have causes that touch their heart that they want to support. And oftentimes they're not able to do that at the level that they want to. And so I do that for them. And I take 100% of the profits from that work, like you said, and it gets donated to a charity called Shelter to Soldier, which rescues dogs from environments where they could have been euthanized or die. And they're trained as service animals for soldiers who've come back with PTSD or traumatic brain injuries. And many of the folks tuning in might be aware that our returning veterans are committing suicide at the rate of almost 1 an hour. Ooh. But not one who's received a service dog has committed suicide. So I'm just very blessed to be in the financial situation where I can donate 100% of my profits to that charity. And I'm saving, and they are, not me. They're getting my money, but they're saving 2 lives at a time.
Excellent. Excellent. Can you have any stories that you'd like to tell our viewers, our audience?
Oh, yeah. One of the first people I met from that organization his name was Vic. His dog was Kira. He was one of the first people to receive his service dog. She was a pit bull mix. It would have been euthanized. But instead, and Vic, when he came back, he did underwater demolition work when something went wrong and caused traumatic brain injuries. And when he came home, he was stuttering so badly. He wasn't even able to communicate with his wife or children. Sorry, I try not to think about it because it gets tough to talk. anyway, Vic wouldn't go out. He was housebound, couldn't go grocery shopping with his wife, couldn't go to his girls' soccer games, none of that stuff. Things started to change for him when he got the service dog. One of the things, as an example, the dog was not trained for, it did. When he was having flashbacks and nightmares and not, screaming in his sleep, the dog jumped up on the bed and started pawing at his chest to wake him up.
Oh my goodness.
It wasn't even trained for that. That's how intuitive these animals can become. When a soldier is having some issue where they're starting to melt down, let's say they're in a department store and it's too crowded, the dog removes them from the environment.
Oh.
It is amazing what these dogs can do. So anyway, Vic was able to start speaking more clearly. He was able to go to soccer games to see his kids, able to go to the grocery store with his wife. Eventually, he started speaking about the benefits he derived from Shelter to Soldier. So eloquently, he would bring everybody to tears. And so from a man who could barely speak to what I would call an impassioned, motivating, inspirational public speaker is the kind of transformation that took place from having a service dog. So, the cost to take care of the dog's food, the training cost, housing the dog, housing the veteran, training the veteran with the dog, taking care of the vet bills and all of that runs about $15,000 per dog. And they're not getting any government support. It's all through donations. So my wife and I so far have supported 6 soldiers and dogs. That's only, a little over $100,000. But it's just, we are so blessed to be able to do that.
Yeah. My goodness.
And, when you said I was broke at age 50, I'll give you an example of how bad things were for me at one point in my life. Okay. I had to collect soda bottles and cans to get the refund money to buy food for my family. So when someone says they can't accomplish wealth and they're not making much money, that's bullpucky. I could come up with stronger words, but this may be a PG program. So
yes.
The point being, hey, if I can go from collecting soda bottles and cans to paying more income taxes than I ever earned in my life at this stage, it's available for anyone. I mean, I failed high school math. Anybody could do this.
Amazing. I'm sure you've got a lot of those stories. Now, I'm going to point out something. As we're all looking at you and you're talking. Above your head is a pretty remarkable conglomeration of words. It says wealth on any income. Now, I would imagine some of our viewers are salivating just at the thought of what you're going to say and how you're going to tell them. In fact, the title for your talk today, 3 Secrets of the Wealthy. You want to just rock'em sock'em, just hit us with that, because wealth on any income, that's a real attention getter, Rennie.
Good. Well, so I'll tell you where the title comes from, and then I'll give you the 3 secrets.
Okay.
The title comes from the fact that I've produced a multi-million-dollar net worth, starting with only earning $5,000 a month. Now, maybe some people say, oh, $5,000 a month, that's a lot. That's $60,000 a year. I was saving $500 a month out of that, using a concept that's 5,000 years old. In 3 years, I saved up a whopping $18,000. Wow. And I did not do this alone. This is the most important part. Wealth creation is a team sport. It's not a solo sport. People who attempt to do these kinds of things by themselves will not succeed very well. You know, they may have some success, but it'll be mediocre. If you want to have wonderful success, you don't do it by yourself. You involve a team. You have partners, you have coaches, you have accountants, you have bankers, you have insurance agents, you have whomever that will support you on your journey. So what I'm getting at is with this $18,000, I was offered the opportunity to buy a little triplex in Los Angeles. That ain't going to buy anything in Los Angeles. So my wife at the time said, well, I'll chip in 18,000 because the realtor said, this is such a good deal. I'll chip in half the down payment, which was 36,000. So the three of us combined came up with the down payment. And from that 3-unit property, 5 years later, we owned and controlled 50 units.
Wow.
So $18,000 turned into multi-millions within 5 years. So that's why it's wealth on any income. Now, what are the secrets?
I'm waiting.
I mean, okay. Yeah. There are 3 secrets, and I have an acronym for them. It's AFI, which stands for Attitude, Forms, and Investments, not AFI. It does not stand for the American Film Institute.
Okay.
Okay. So wealthy people actually have a different attitude when it comes to money and how they view investments, how they even listen to familiar information. So attitude is the key. People call it mindset. It's really their attitude. F stands for forms. You and I have probably filled out the same forms that wealthy people have filled out, but they look at them differently. They don't look at their house as an asset. It doesn't generate an income. It generates expenses from insurance and utilities to maybe mortgage payments or repairs. Mm-hmm. And the last item, I, stands for investments. Wealthy people are not limited to stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. There are so many other things available. Just in the real estate category alone, there's 30 different things that people could invest in that are real estate based. There's peer-to-peer lending. There's oil and gas investments. There's cryptocurrencies. I mean, there are so many other things besides stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. So those are the 3 secrets. They have a different attitude. They look at the forms differently that you and I may see, and they invest in things that most people think are the only things available: stocks, bonds, and mutual funds.
So how can your middle American family train their mindset, their attitude to embrace what you've just said? Because it is difficult a lot of times when somebody is making, 5,000 or maybe even less a month, and it's like, well, what Rennie just said sounded good, but it went in this year and it went out this other one because that can't be me. Why can it be me, Rennie?
Oh, that's so great, because you almost identified exactly one of the attitudes that's crucial. And I'll give you an example. Hold on a second.
Take your time.
Okay.
We're all waiting.
I'll give you one of the attitudes of a wealthy person. Okay. Now, you said you made a statement and you asked the question, and that is the key difference. Rick, let me put you on the spot for a second.
Sure.
And I think you're going to do very well with this. I'm not worried. Have you heard? I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Have you heard of the expression, pay yourself first?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Can you explain it? That's the second question.
Okay. For me, it's tithe and taxes. Right now at this stage in our life, if we put some into savings, as you did, you put $500 a month. If we put some into savings, that would be, to my mind, that would be paying myself.
And that is correct. So the funny part about it is I ask many, many people this question. I ask podcasters this question. And the sad thing is very few of them, as educated and smart as they are not able to explain what pay yourself first is, but every one of them have heard of the expression. So here's what I'm getting at with a wealthy person. An ordinary person, when he hears something familiar, will make a statement like, I've heard that before. I know what that is. That's not new to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what a wealthy person does. When a wealthy person hears familiar information, they ask a question instead, like, where would I put the money? Or when will I begin that practice? Or how much more should I contribute? Or how much should I set aside or pay myself first with? Or who can support me with that? And those questions lead to the actions.
Yes, yes. So did I answer it okay?
Yes, you did. You answered it perfectly.
There, I just patted myself on the back. Yay. Oh, thank you, Rennie.
You're welcome.
A little to the left, just a little.
Oh, yeah. Well, you didn't tell me you had an itch. You just wanted a pat.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the accolades.
You're welcome. So the point being, when it comes to attitude, and you're asking, how does someone in middle America put this into practice? First, stop making statements. And second, start asking questions. And they're the questions we learned to ask in elementary school. Who, what, where, when, and how.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I'd ask is add who.
Okay. It's fair.
Oh, and one of the things not to ask is why.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, because you can come up with any answer you want to a why question, and it'll be true. Like, why do I have clients who are jerks? Well, because you're a jerk. Does that solve anything?
Wow. May I interject something here?
Please, Rick.
Okay. All right. My goal is to bring truth to people. Okay. Because the truth will make you free. Yeah. And so I do believe that truth is where you find it. And, but a lot of my truth comes out of the truth to me that I've been brought up with.
Yes.
Is biblical truth. And it's amazing to me when people will do this. Okay. That can't be for me because that doesn't make sense. See, our greatest enemy is not hell. It's not Satan. It's not fear. Our greatest enemy is reason. We reason our way. God does something. He puts something here or he puts something here, or, heaven forbid they connect up and you're going, whoa, that would be so. Oh, but that can't be God. I mean, why would he do that for me? And I don't think that's possible. And then they go on with their complicated lives and they miss the blessing. They miss.
And you just emphasized what we were speaking about when you said, why would he do that for me?
Yes. Yeah. We don't ask why. Because when you get to the end of whatever that was, you can look back with 20/20 hindsight and go, oh, now I see. Yeah. It's crazy. We are crazy creatures, Rennie.
Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it.
Go on. I'm so intrigued, and I'm sure our viewers are.
Yeah. So anyway, like I said, wealthy people think differently. They have a different attitude. As an example, that same thing applies to the forms that we were speaking about. They don't view their house as an asset because it generates expenses, not income. They look at what they own and what they owe in a completely different way. They look at what they own as what will produce an income. It's not a fancy car. It's not a big screen TV set. No. It's what will produce an income. And when it comes to the liabilities, oh gosh, this is another attitude. Wealthy people do not focus on paying off consumer debt before they pay themselves first, before they invest.
My. Hmm.
And I can't emphasize that enough. Now, unfortunately, I've heard similar things from Susie Orman and Dave Ramsey. I know he's one of your mentors.
Yes, he is.
But the idea of paying off debt first
Mhm.
is taking care of someone else before you take care of yourself.
Got it.
And so, as an example, I mentioned at age 50, I was broke. I also had credit card debt and I'd saved up $18,000. If I'd have used that to pay off my credit card debt, I would not have had the money to begin the investing.
I see.
And all the income from the investments I make pay off my credit cards.
Okay.
I wouldn't have had that if I used it to pay off the credit cards.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I see it over and over again where people focus on paying off their credit cards and then something goes wrong. The car breaks down, a water heater bursts, and they go back to the credit card. And then they pay it down and something else happens. They go back to the credit card and they're on this roller coaster of building up debt and paying off debt. And they end up at age 60, 65, 70, and they've accumulated nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe they're debt free. But let me ask you, Rick, if you had, now I'm not talking about anything else, if you had no debt, you had no car loan, you had no mortgage, you had no credit card debt, would you be financially free?
I know the answer is no.
That's right. But do you know why?
I would not be financially free if I had no debt.
Uh-huh. I'm just saying you have no debt.
Okay. No, please answer the question.
Okay. Just because you have no debt doesn't mean you have an income. So that means you need to keep working if you want to buy groceries, if you want to pay for utilities, if you want to have a life, you have to be working because you don't have any money working for you instead.
I see.
And the only way to have money working for you instead is to set it aside as you're earning before you pay off someone else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Here's how I say it. Treat yourself like you matter. Pay yourself first.
Yeah.
Pay everyone else after.
And I'm sure that you would agree with this, that Dave also does teach that to have 90 days of income set aside, or not 90 days of being able to pay your bills. In other words, whatever your monthly nut is, that multiplied by 3 to have that set aside, so you can pay, you can live for 3 months if something goes wrong.
Oh, absolutely. I sort of wholeheartedly agree with that, but I'm very insecure. So I have 2 years worth of income if no income comes in, saved up.
Okay.
So if none of our tenants pay rent, if none of our investments produce an income, we can still live for the next 2 years based on our savings and checking. Excellent.
Okay.
So I'm, hey, if you're really insecure, you have more money.
Wow. Okay. So we've got some, what was it? Attitude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We covered a lot of attitude.
Okay. A lot of attitude. Forms.
Yeah.
Okay. You have any more to cover there?
Yeah. Let's cover one more item.
Okay.
When someone fills out what would be an income and expense report or a cash flow report, where their money is coming from, hopefully it's coming from more than one source, like a paycheck.
Sure.
Because, well, as an example, I'm too insecure to be an employee. Because what if my employer doesn't like me anymore? What if they have layoffs? What if they go out of business? If 100% of my income is dependent on that paycheck and I lose it, I still have 100% of my bills to pay.
Yes, you're right.
So, people should have more than one source of income. So that's one side of the ledger. Second side is, where's the money being spent? And a lot of people don't realize 10 to 15% of their income goes to areas that don't show up every month, like auto registration or auto repairs or going on a vacation or back to school clothing for their kids or semi-annual insurance premiums. Factoring that in monthly really helps with, I'll call it budgeting, but I'd rather call it a spending plan.
Good. Yeah.
So that's one of the
You're
most
making
important.
total sense. So I'll quit interrupting and let you talk some more. I know what's happening. Our viewers are saying, Rick, will you please just shut up and let Rennie talk? So I will.
No, they're not saying that. They're saying, Rick, ask good questions.
Hey, good question. Hey.
But okay, so that's probably enough about the forms. There's one other thing. One more thing about forms. Tracking where you spend your money. Like what people learn in Overeaters Anonymous is write down every single thing you put anything in your mouth.
Yeah. Because
we all have the ability, you and me included, to ignore things that we don't think amount to much. Like I only had a cookie. I only had a muffin. I only had 3 pieces of candy or 1 candy bar or whatever.
Yeah.
When you write it down, it becomes conscious of what's going on. Same thing with money. And the best example I have is someone who, when he was 11 years of age, tracked every single penny that came into his life. This is back in 1850 when a penny was real money.
Yes.
But he tracked every penny that came into his life and where he spent every penny at 11 years of age.
Wow.
This man grew up to be one of the wealthiest men in the world. I'm talking about John D. Rockefeller, the creator of Standard Oil Company.
Yes.
Okay. Which, by the way, is a habit he kept his whole life. So you got to figure, hey, if that kind of tracking your money works for the wealthiest men in the world, wealthiest women in the world, maybe it would work for us ordinary folk too.
That's good.
So that's the last thing about forms.
Yeah. Well, I got to interject. You are living up to your logo there, wealth on any income. Woo-wee. Yeah. This is a good interview. I'm so glad you accepted my invitation to be a speaker, because people are going to get a lot out of this.
Oh, you're welcome, Rick. Well, Cindy said she suggested you, and I believe in Cindy. So
do I. Yes.
Yeah.
She's my coach. All righty.
Great coach. So let's talk about investments now. One of my favorites is real estate. Like I said, with that 18,000, we started buying multi-unit properties. Another attitude of the wealthy: use debt to create wealth. Don't use debt to buy consumer goods. I didn't have enough money to make down payments on more apartment buildings until I borrowed more money.
Okay.
So I have millions of dollars of debt, but guess what? I'm not the one I'm making the payments, but the money's not coming from me. It's coming from the commercial tenants we have. It's coming from the renters we have. And there's still plenty of money left over. So they're the ones who are paying off the millions of dollars of debt that I borrowed to become wealthy.
Okay.
All right. So investments, real estate. People think, real estate, I guess I could buy a second house. That's just one of so many real estate opportunities. Here are some other examples. A board and care facility, multi-units, office buildings, office parks, trailer homes, a trailer park, second trust deeds. I probably should have prepared a list, because when I did prepare, I came up with 30 areas in real estate. Real estate investment trusts, first and second trust deeds. And the point is, there are 30 at least that I came up with ways of investing in real estate to make money. And it's tax lien certificates. You could buy a tax lien certificate that could pay anywhere between 10 and 18% interest for a few $100. You don't need thousands of dollars to invest in real estate if you go out and you're buying tax deeds or tax lien certificates. So anyway, the point being, stocks, bonds, and mutual funds are not the only way to go. There's oil and gas investments. There's equipment leasing. There's peer-to-peer lending. Let's talk about peer-to-peer lending. Let's say that, Rick, you, for whatever reason, wanted to borrow $2,000.
Okay.
You could go to the bank and maybe they'll charge you 10, 12% interest to borrow that money. Or I could loan it to you and collect 10% interest. Or I could put it in the bank to make 1% so that the bank could loan it to you at 10%. Why would I do that?
That's amazing.
Anyway, so the point is, wealthy people are not limited, to stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. And too many people think, oh, that's all that's available, and it is not. So those are the three secrets of the wealthy: the attitude, ask questions, don't make statements, use debt to create wealth. The forms, what do you look for to see what will produce an income? How many income sources do you have? Where are you spending your money? Are you tracking your money? And the investments, real estate, equipment leasing, peer-to-peer lending, oil and gas, all the other things that are available.
Well, I know that you have a gift.
Oh, yes.
Viewers, can you tell us a little bit about that? And we will have the address for that, so people can get your free gift. I think it's going to be clicking a lot. The people are going to want this. I know I'm going to get it for sure.
Well, it's a two-part gift, and the two parts are my TEDx talk, where I have a conversation about how we've been programmed to believe it's better to be poor than to be wealthy. And that indoctrination holds a lot of people back.
Yes.
And the second is the cure, which is a 9-step roadmap to complete financial choice. So they can get it and this is maybe hard to memorize, at my website, which is wealthonanyincome.com/TEDx. They'll hear my TEDx talk and they can get the roadmap.
Well, and we will have that displayed also when people upgrade, especially when they upgrade to the VIP status, where they can watch your video anytime they want to, and all of the other videos that are on the summit, the interviews and everything. So they'll get all of that information. But I do believe firmly that yours will be one of the more popular ones, definitely. Goodness gracious. Well, okay. So let me ask you this. I've got another question, and you're just the kind of guy who would answer this from your heart, and that makes me happy. The question is, when it comes to living your best life, or when it comes to living my best life, our viewers, our audience best life, what advice do you have for us?
See where you can give and contribute your gifts to other people. That's what provides fulfillment. It's not about how much I can collect. It's about how much I can give.
Wow. I just have to let that soak in. Yes. And I have been taught that. And yes, my wife and I have lived that. Great. I have an Amber Alert.
Oh, and it's right on time.
Amber Alert. Well, anyway, I hope whoever is lost will be found safely.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And anything else that you would like to add, Rennie? I want to just thank you from the bottom of my heart and my brain, because it's a little bit on overload right now. But I do appreciate so much what you're sharing with us and what you're doing. And it is about giving. Given it shall be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing. Will other people give back to you? It's not like manna from heaven. It's other people give to you, but you have to be a giver. You have to be a giver. If you expect anything to come to you in life, you have to be a giver. And I've taught that for way more years than I want to even admit. But there are some have-tos in this world, and you can't get around them. And one of the have-tos is be a giver.
And what that comes from is a prosperity consciousness versus a poverty consciousness.
Yes. And to me, I taught this forever and ever and ever, is money. It's the love of money that's the root of all evil. Not,
Yeah, right.
You want to have money, you just don't want money to have you. And it's money equals choices.
Yes.
Money equals choices. What are we going to do? Am I going to give to that? Am I going to give to that? Am I going to build this? Am I going to support this? Am I going to work with this person? It's all giving. It's all giving. And then you get in return, not because you can't earn anything but God, from God, but he loves us, and he wants to give us back. He's a rewarder. He's a rewarder of those who do the right things. And obviously, you're doing a great job of doing the right things.
Thank you, Rick. And thank you for the opportunity to participate with you, talk about Shelter to Soldier. My life is so blessed because I'm able to do that and have created complete financial choice.
Yeah. Well, for you viewers, remember, you can upgrade to VIP status and get all of the interviews that are in the Achieve Your Dream Summit. But for right now, we're going to say goodbye. Thank you so much, and God bless to Rennie Gabriel.